come. But I was just talking about like the show to everybody here in the room and what this show has, done for me and what I hope it's done for the community, which is back in March of 2020, we started this show with me being the host. We were doing it with other folks hosting the show in our team and in our company, but I started hosting the show, and it was a big commitment, right? Because, well, shit, had to show up for something every day at the same time, no matter where I was at. And sometimes I've streamed this show from the mountains of Georgia. Sometimes I've streamed it from my backyard. Sometimes I've streamed it from my car. Sometimes and most of the time I've just been right at my desk wearing the same exact shirt every day and the same hat, right? And I'm serious about that. I actually don't even wash the shirt. I'm just playing. I do wash it, but not much. I don't wash it much. But anyways, I want to talk to you all today here briefly about our events. Since you're not here, to give you a little bit of a taste and a look into why events are important and kind of what I hope that all of our folks here get out of this. If you're sitting at home and you've been marketing and you've been building your business and you've been signing up for courses and you've been watching webinars and you've been reading emails, and any of that still sound familiar? Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's like webinar after guru after course, and then while you're doing your research and development, scrolling through TikTok or Facebook or whatever, before you know it, you're on a new webinar and signing up for something new, and it's like, well, maybe this is it, right? Maybe this is the secret, Maybe it's doing, last time I did drop shipping with Shopify, but maybe this time it's doing drop shipping with GrooveCart or some other software, right? Like maybe it's the software. But anyways, if you've kind of been sitting at home working as a self-employed person, because that's really what we all are at first, right? Remember in the cash flow quadrant where the left side is, you're employed or you're self-employed, and then over on the other side, it's where that's where you want to be as a business owner and an investor. And what makes a business owner is that you have people working with or for you, and you have systems that are in place. So most of us, when we start, are self-employed, right? We're self-employed. And so if you've been sitting at home and you've been kind of doing most of everything alone, right? And you're by yourself, and you're surrounded by family and friends who don't know what the hell you're doing, right? And for most of us, we're hiding it, like we're like smoking crack or something. It's like, we're like, oh shit, somebody's coming in, quick, I'm gonna get on the porn site and just right? I mean, then she'll walk in and thinks everything's normal, whatever, right? But it's like when we finally get out and we come to an event, I think one of the biggest impacts that I have is just kind of talking to people who have, a lot of the same experiences, even if they aren't all positive experiences, even if they're like some challenges, and some of the things that we can laugh at ourselves about, like the endless signing up for this and that and getting involved in all this different stuff, right? You find your tribe, you find people. And then you also, here's the other thing, is that you get in a room and you start to see people who maybe you put on a pedestal on the internet. And when you see them in person, you're like, well, they ain't really that. I mean, they ain't shit, Like, they can do it, I can do it, And you start to humanize people instead of idolize people. You realize that even me, like my ability to be able to kind of get up and just start talking and, I literally just rolled out of bed like probably 9 minutes ago, you know what I mean? You guys are all like struggling to take your alarms, and you probably thought I'm like prepping ready for you, like, okay, doing my meditation. No, I'm sleeping until the very last minute, right? But why? I go live every day at 10 a.m. I practice this shit. I've been talking and speaking and creating content for over a decade now. So I mean, to be able to turn on the camera and just start talking is something that this doesn't come natural to me. This is something that I've done and I've worked on and I've practiced, and now, like, if something doesn't land right or it doesn't sound right or whatever, like, I don't stop and turn off the camera, especially if I'm live. I can't, right? It's another way to get good at speaking fast, be live, right? We're live right now. I can't, there's no do-overs, right? It's just keep going. And so when we come to events, we get to hear those kind of stories and meet people and really learn the behind the scenes of their success versus just, kind of thinking that they were born like that or made like that, or it's Maybelline, isn't it? Maybe she was born like that. She wasn't, he wasn't, it's all a matter of most of the time being a lot uglier behind the scenes than it looks out, interfacing. It's usually a scramble and oftentimes a panic, and things are a mess, and we just try to clean up whatever's in the frame of the camera, right? That's kind of what it is. So, these events, as much as the content that's shared, as much as the content that's shared, and we are going to be sharing a lot of amazing content, and we're going to be sharing a lot of strategies, and we're going to deliver an immense amount of training this weekend that I think will be highly life-changing for everybody in the room. It's also the connection. So if you're watching this from home right now and you're thinking, hey, what is the thing that I need to do moving forward the next time I get an opportunity to maybe kind of push me over that edge, I would encourage you to try to connect, to build a support system, to get more involved. Maybe that means coming to an event and meeting people. Maybe that just means getting out of your comfort zone and networking a little bit and kind of building a small little support system that you can kind of be accountable to and communicate with. Because in all transparency, you guys know that I'm a recovering drug addict, right? So the truth is that over the past, decade plus, as I've, navigated my recovery and trying to stay clean, and I have an addictive personality, and I could pick right up where I left off at any time if I was to start, messing around, if you will, messing around, but I have to stay diligent, mostly with my support group, and it's not just about me driving the train. It's about, sometimes I got to get out of the captain's chair and I got to find me a co-pilot, and that's what, sometimes it can be hard to trust people, and sometimes it can be hard to meet people, and sometimes it can be hard to connect people. And sometimes it can be hard to feel like an equal, right? Human beings have a tendency to either feel greater than or less than, right? We have a hard time just feeling equal to other people because we want to feel superior is what the ego wants, but ultimately we end up feeling inferior is ultimately what happens. So it's hard to make connections and it's hard to reach out to people. I get that, and that's why I'm telling you to do it, right? Because it's important and it matters. And for me, for example, in my recovery, it's been the number one thing that's helped me to keep my life on track.
Next Mastermind,
plus,
you'll learn.
plus, is
Next
having
Mastermind,
support,
register.
having people that I can